What's up, Leo? Welcome to your April 2018 reading. My name is Camille, and you are watching Millennial Tarot. Just to get something out of the way, I'm still doing my personal readings, but I am now moving from $5 to $10. Oh my god! I just get so many inquiries. It's a whole side business. I have 2 other jobs, this job, other things. And just the effort and energy, I felt it was time to value the readings a little bit higher at just $10. And in comparison, it's still remarkably cheap to what you can get elsewhere for a very in-depth, well-rounded reading. I wish I could set up a website so you guys can get testimonials. I'm not lying. But that's what's happening. I wanted to get that out the way. So if you wanted to do a personal reading, if you're a returning customer or you are a new customer, just know that those will now be just $10. But without further ado, back to you, Leo. Let's see what could be going on with your April. I hope that you are a fellow fire sign enjoying this embark into Aries season. It's a little bit lighter for a lot of people. For me, because I did my makeup very Aquarian, your opposing sign, very silly, but it's still like Leo. Like, look at me, Leo. So, I get you. But yeah, these readings are a little bit more lighthearted because I am just imbued and enjoying the Aries spirit. So let's see what comes up for you. April 2018. All right, one more time. Awesome. Okay, so 2 major arcana cards and then a lame card at the end. We might have to clarify that. So coming into this reading, coming to this time in your life, recent past, with the Sagittarian card of Temperance. And then presently, ooh, cool, the Gemini card of the Lovers. And the reason I have a little bit of hesitation is because we're moving here into the Nine of Swords. Do not despair. Do not be upset. We're going to clarify that in the end. Of course, we don't stop until we get the happy ending for you. But coming into this reading with positive ending, I should say. Happy ending is a little bit simple. With the card of Balance, with the card of Sagittarius. So this could both mean, those Sagittarian archetypes of travel, of bridging gaps between communities, of higher philosophies, of being more worldly and spiritual, but both also the archetype of the Temperance card in the tarot deck, which is balance and moderation between sometimes 2 opposing extremes, but just 2 things that are calling at you in different ways. And the Temperance is always shown by balancing the water in front of a water place, and there's sun in the background and all these things. So this is really just speaking to balancing emotions within yourself first before you are able to access the brighter horizon, the joy that's around the corner. And when you get yourself in alignment that way, we're able to enjoy the things that come at us better. And it's coming in the recent past position and setting off the reading. So this is already something that you are quite well aware of something that you have to balance within yourself. I'm getting that it's either you in relationship to another person or you in relationship to yourself. We have a lot of dualities happening here, both with the Gemini card and the Temperance, balancing these 2 things. We're also coming into this reading with both Sagittarius and Gemini. They are opposing signs and they also are mutable signs. So to the extent that you may be here, there, making efforts here, stopping that, doing that, stopping that, doing that, stopping that, and just like not adhering to an actual focus, that could be what's getting you in trouble. Mutable signs are lovely, beautiful signs, but they enact change. But in order for that change to either ever be rooted in our life, we need to ground them with more groundedness. You are fixed sign Leo, so throwing you off in a mutable Geminian, Sagittarian type way is a little bit alien to you. You're like, I know what I want it to look this way, I want it to be that way, I want myself to look this way, I want people to look at me. all this stuff. And so mutable energy coming here to show you there's a little bit of shift happening. This is like tectonic plates that are slowly moving below the surface, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I thought that was over there. You know, I thought all these things were going to happen. I thought this is how it was, and life is kind of throwing you for a loop. But it's throwing you for like a really cool loop. This is not anything devastating. I know that we ended it off with a 9 of Swords, which I think some of you Leos, it might be a little bit, I mean, it's with love, a little bit over dramatic about what is happening, and it could be so alien to you that you're keeping yourself up at night with anxiety. That's the card of anxiety, of insomnia, you know, just things that we do to ourselves. It's not anything coming at you. It's not anything sad necessarily on the horizon. So this could just really be speaking to you're at a place of momentum and of motion in your life, and you're unsure of where it's heading, you're unsure of where you're going, and it's like really throwing you off. But back to opposing balances. This could also be, you know, things coming at you in your life, but this could as well be, you know, you within you. And we speak more here to the Gemini card of the Lovers. Archetypically, of course, this means the coming together of two souls. This means relationship is happening for you. This means that you are also embarking on a very self-loving endeavor that has to do with creativity, that has to do with communication, writing, all that stuff, poetry, all these lovers, Venusian type things. But it could also speak to balancing the two sides of yourself, the yin and yang within yourself, the anima versus the animus, the male and feminine, all of that within yourself. And I think that it's more that because the major arcana cards kind of come up as universal signifiers of like what's happening, and they're bigger messages than the minor arcana. And both with Temperance, which is more of an internal modality of getting things in balance, and the Lovers card, which could certainly mean relationship, but it also speaks to the duality within ourselves, and Gemini, all those energies. It's really behooving me to say that there's something off balance within your own self, and you project and you picture your outer world as being off balance. Let's bring this down to some real world examples. Things in your job are a little bit in flux, not in a bad way, but just in I don't know where they're going way. Things in your relationship may be in flux, again, not in a bad way, but like not I don't know where we're going way. Weight, relationships, money, all these things are like fine, but they're moving. You know? And they're like, no, stay. It's like whack-a-mole. It's like, no, stay here. No, all this stuff. Because Leo's fixed. You guys want things, see it. I want it to be this way. All this stuff. And here you are being challenged with two mutable signs. And there are two opposing mutable signs as well. So then you have the balance within yourself also being very disparate type of balances and very disparate type of things to do and things to work with. I hope that makes sense. It's a very esoteric type of reading when it comes to the major arcana cards. But then we move here and you taking it too seriously. And I do truly believe that this is more you kind of overcompensating with emotions. Leo being a very flamboyant emotional sign. And you're just kind of taking it to, I don't want to say seriously, but you're taking it to heart. And when you take it to heart, you know, it weighs down on your heart. Sure, it can cause anxiety and depression. Sure, it can cause, you know, I can't go to sleep at night. But more, you're just blinding yourself. And you have, you know, it's dark. You have the swords on the wall, swords of all the things that could go wrong. What if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? Oh, I'm going to cover my eyes. I just don't even want to look at it. Don't want to look at it. That now is not the time to be blind. Now is not the time to be like not looking at what's happening. Now is not the time to retreat, to not take action, to not, you know, be an active participant in your own life. Whatever is causing you upheaval is something that you are going to have to face like head on. And this was also true for another sign. I'm not Taurus. I'm not at all surprised that as we head into Aries season, as Mars is, you know, up with Saturn and Pluto and Capricorn, which is the real work that we do in the world, I'm not surprised that all these action-oriented and all these change-oriented cards are coming up for a lot of people. And my advice to you, Leo, would to be look this in the face. If it's causing you discomfort, it's going to continue to cause you discomfort if you ignore it. It's going to continue to cause you confusion if you ignore it. Look it in the face. Think about what are the things that we can do. We think about Sagittarius and Sagittarius ruling higher philosophies and higher ideals, getting out of what is happening to you to see it more objectively, to see it from a more spiritual mindset. And then we think about her opposite Gemini, still very much into communication, but we're talking about day-to-day stuff. We're talking about short distance travel, whereas Sagittarius is long distance thing. So Gemini is a thing you can do in your real world. They're the action steps that you can take in your immediate surroundings. And Sagittarius is more how can we look at this from a more broadly worldly spiritual perspective. So to the extent that you may be a spiritual person, I want you to go within, think about what these themes mean to you. This is a heavily themed time. It's also a karmic time for you, so don't ignore it. Don't shun it and wish it weren't happening. Upheaval in your job and your relationship, things could be ending, which is scary. Things could also be starting, which is equally as scary. Things could be slowing down, which is scary. And things could be speeding up, which is scary, should you have been accustomed to any type of thing, opposite of that. If things are speeding up, you may be accustomed to things being slow, and now you have to go for a ride. If things were fast for a while, and you're making all these changes, and things are now slowing down, that could also throw you off. Now is the time to be spiritual about it. Now is the time to be less self-centered about it and to really see it from a more broadened, how is this going to look in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and really take a wider perspective of your life. And then once you do that, get down into the nitty-gritty more here with the Gemini of what can you do in your immediate life, in your immediate surroundings to mitigate whatever changes are happening to you and to mitigate feeling this way about it. And then let's speak about, the actual archetypes. Temperance, calling for balance and moderation. The Lovers calling forth your harmony and your relationship with other people. Where are your relationships out of whack? Where are you doing too much? Where are you not doing enough? Where are you not saying enough? Where are you not doing enough? Moderation speaks more to probably you guys are overdoing it in some way, and you could be throwing yourself out for a loop here. You could be tired, you could be stressed here because you are doing that. And the Lover's card is like, wait a minute, slow down. Remember, there's another person here. Remember, there are other factors here. There's never only just you. And Temperance, being moderation, is saying, how could we step back a little bit? Which is still Sagittarius. Step back, see it from a different perspective. And when you do these things, when you come to balance both in your inner world and your outer world, both within yourself and with other people, love relationship, this is automatically going to be lessened. This is going to be less of a concern. Remember, the swords are what we think in our head and then project outwardly. They're how we feel and think about a situation, because thoughts inform our emotions. So this is not something that's permanent. It is not something that has any power over you. This is not something that, is going to devastate you and throw you out the game. It is merely just an indication to think differently, to see it differently, to look it in the eye, to fix what you can, and then just kind of keep plodding along and accepting the change. Accept the mutability that is happening against your more fixed self. And we can't be fixed forever, because we are fixed forever, then we'd never move. So accept the movement, accept the balance, accept the undulations with yourself, with your partner, with others, with your job, with your community, with your friends, with your family, with your finances, with your job, with your weight, with your health. All of it is in balance, being thrown off balance right now, or in change. It's in flux, rather, right now. Go with the freaking flow, and this will fly out of your radar. Accept the changes happening, accept that things are moving fast or slowly, however it is for you. Go along with the ride, enjoy yourself, and know that it will all be okay in the end. Do not slam the brakes, do not say no, do not reject, do not ignore and pretend that it's not there. Do not just resolve to be in your bed, not looking at it, not taking action. Those are not the right things to do. Look change in the eye, look difficulty, look, off balance things, whatever, in the eye, you know what I mean. And fix them, and know that you have complete power over them. These are just thoughts. They can be dispersed with a quick change of mind. It's all okay. All right? So that has been your April 2018 reading. If you want to get more clarity on your personal situation, of course, once again, personal readings, $10. But if not, I will see you here in May. Have a great day.